So, finally did get me another tournament in today. Because the last couple of weeks they were being a bit weird with it. I mean, obviously last week was the new Challenger Sneak. Week before that was a tag tournament, which I didn't attend because I just couldn't be bothered. So, finally got around to a regular tournament after a little bit of a while, and decided to take Raccoons because, of course, with new challenges now being released, I was able to run a build with Valerie Fawn. So I took it there, and I did shit. I built up to this for at least maybe 5 months, and then completely caved in. I got a grand total of 1 win from my 5 rounds, with 2 draws, and obviously the other 2 being losses. My first of the draws actually came in the first round. I played against Burning Abyss, in which I found that the main deck's Soul Drain, which I'll go on a little bit of a tangent about in the deck list, was very effective. When I opened up with it, I got some of the silly plays off. I didn't go incredibly ballistic. Actually, no, I did go ballistic. I went first turn Sando You Beast. It was the only time I went Sando You Beast in that entire tournament, so I went first turn with that. Obviously, a Deep Prison sorted that out, the Beast out, but then as soon as Soul Drain came in, I basically just pushed over everything he had and just kept generating token advantage and taking that game. And then game 2 took a rather long amount of time. I kind of opened up to Horrid. He had the first turn Dante play. I had Shadow Mirror to stall him out, and I also dropped a Flying Sea to stop him from getting a second Dante on board. But he managed to just get over me and get the damage in, and then in time, basically, I just kind of failed there. So that ended in a draw. Round 2 was also a draw. I played against Yang Zings. Pretty much a similar sort of thing in that round as well. Game 1, he sat behind a Swanee for the bulk of the game, and then I managed to get around that, and then basically managed to pull off an OTK out of nowhere by, I think, copying... What was it? 28... 2050... I had 228 tokens on the board. I copied his, he had Armades with the Swanee boost, so that was 500 plus. I then copied that I then summoned a token, copied it. I then used one Kitten, bounced it back, and then overlaid for a second Sandayu. And so I had the 2 Sandayus, 228 tokens, and then I also had the the Valerie Fawn. So the Valerie Fawn actually did come in handy because I gamed him with it in that game. Shame I didn't have the camel with me. Which actually, now that I remember, I actually did Kalantosa for game in that game 1 against Burning Abyss as well. So early on, it was basically just the funny game enders aplenty. So those 2 were draws. Round 3, I played against Hat and ran him pretty much ragged. I managed to out-resource him there in game 1 and managed to get over him there. Game 2 kind of just pushed me around with artifact beats, and then game 3 pretty much went into time. It started, and then a couple of turns in, it went into time. I just couldn't keep the monster presence on board, so I ended up losing that one. Round 4, I played against Ghost Tricks. I OTK'd Ghost Tricks game 1 because I actually thought he had one of the Ghost Trick field spells, then he got rid of it, and then he dropped another Ghost Trick field spell. I think the first one he played was Parade. I think the first one was... I think there's a... I can't remember. But basically, it wasn't Mansion. It wasn't Mansion, because I actually thought he had the Mansion... I'm pretty sure it was... Oh god, I'm just getting confused at the field spells of Ghost Tricks. It's just... Okay, basically, I went in, thought I was attacking with half damage. Turns out it was the wrong field spell. And so I ended up inflicting 25, 25, 3 25s and 1,000 from a token Sandayu plus a beefed up Phoenix, Starguster Phoenix. So that was awesome. Game 2 was not so awesome. I ended up getting stuck behind a bunch of his. I just basically ran into a wall, could not bust my way through it, and that wall then just decided to pull a massive freaking cannon out of nowhere in the form of Ghost Dragool, which is basically like Soraka the Dawn. It pumps up one Ghost Trick with the attack of all the others on your board. So he kind of did that and ripped me to shreds there. I actually scooped before we went into sudden death because there was no way I was drawing to that. And so we went to game 3, and right at the end of sudden death, I managed to pull a play, break his board, and then push for the damage, and then managed to get the win out of that one. So that was my one win. And then round 5 I played against Shadows. This matchup, I pretty much dropped dead. Game 1 I braked. There's nothing much more I need to say about that. I just was shit house. Game 2, I opened the Shadow Mirror and basically had all the answers. He dropped Shekinaga. I'm not even sure if that's the correct pronunciation, but whatever, I bottomlessed it. Then followed up with the next turn by deprisoning a construct, and then just kept consistent pushes with Sandy presence, and so that took the second game. Game 3, I ended up losing because the only change in life points was actually as a direct result of Burst Rebirth. I was giving Burst Rebirth another crack, and got mixed results with it. It did relatively well, but at the same time that it did actually cost me that match. So it would have been my third draw had I not gone with the Burst Rebirth, but then again, the lack of the monster would have probably cost me the game anyway, so I don't think it would have really made too much of a difference. But the fact that I took no damage aside from the loss of those life points from Burst Rebirth is kind of sucky when you essentially die by your own cards. So 1-2 was my final result. I got 34th out of about 39 players. It's disgusting. Despite the fact that it kind of sucked, I'm gonna show the deck off anyway. So I will just stop this video and show that off. So see you for that.